Welcome to this edition of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Pete Shinnick. And Coach, Tigers stayed in state for the second week in a row, traveling down to College Park to take on the flagship. And unfortunately, things did not go the way you wanted. And unfortunately, it started very early.
No, it did. Very unfortunate way to start. If you're going to start a game, at least fair catch the ball, right? Or at least give us the ball at the 25-yard line. Do something. Felt bad for our guys. You know, that was the end where their students were. They didn't communicate well. They both thought each other had the ball. So to start off at the 2-yard line, not how we had planned, not what we were thinking, and then really just never found a sync offensively. That first half. I thought our defense played well in spurts. The first drive held them to a field goal. We told our team, look, every mistake matters, and it's going to come back at some point in time. If we would have punted from the 25, and they go on a 14-yard drive, they're not scoring those first 3 points. So you got a different game there. You know what I mean? And then we're getting the ball in a different area. So that mistake, unfortunately, kind of hindered us for a while.
You look at the ball game, and the first thing that most people would want to know is, did you get out of there healthy?
Yeah, for the most part. We did have one injury that I think is going to be a while. We're a little banged up going into Youngstown. But I think for the most part, we came out okay. For
Andrew Indorf playing as a true freshman, now he plays the first 2 games and had a lot of success, throwing touchdown passes, no interceptions, a couple of victories. Now he's going in playing a different level ball club.
Yeah.
How do you think he handled it?
I thought, I think if you go back and you watch it and you analyze it, his completion percentage was still pretty good. The first shot that he threw, he got hit, you know what I mean? And so he probably would have gone to John Dunmore had we not crisscrossed our protection, you know what I mean? So he should have been going to the boundary when he had to go to the field because he had pressure. I thought he threw a really good ball to John on the back shoulder on the second drive that I think John had a chance to catch, So, he's still throwing the ball accurately. You take away the freshman, bravado mistake of, throwing across your body in the red zone against really fast DBs. I thought he played decently, you know what I mean, against a Maryland team. I think you look at that, the 3-play drive where they still had some of their starters in. Great decision to go to Cleveland. Great job coming back to Sam Reynolds, you know what I mean, and then going to Lucas Londano there, Zay Perkins on the fade slot. So still made a lot of really good decisions. We got to eliminate the mistake, and then I think we got to keep him protected a little better as well. And
we did see the emergence of Cleveland Charlton this week that we hadn't seen in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, great to see him. They tried to just play him straight up, and he showed his speed. He showed his ability to release off the ball, and it showed kind of what we've seen. So we're excited about that, being able to unleash him a little bit more, as the season goes on.
All right, this week, finally, a game at Johnny Unitas Stadium as the Tigers will take on Youngstown State. These two teams haven't met since 1991. When Jim Tressel was their head coach. He went on to win a national championship at Ohio State. But you look at this Penguin team, and right off the bat, you got to look at the quarterback because Bo Brungard has thrown for 478 yards, but he's rushed for 426 yards and is averaging 8.2 yards per carry. Obviously, a dual-threat quarterback.
Most definitely. And against Robert Morris, I think he averaged 25 yards a carry or something like that. I want to say he had 260 yards rushing on 11 carries, something like that. Very dynamic, very hard to get down. You saw Michigan State really put a high premium on trying to get him, out of the run game. They run the quarterback power, which, by design is a very difficult play to, stop. So we got to be dialed in on that. We got to be really, on point with that. And then he throws a really good ball, too. I think he's very accurate. His wide receivers understand him. As you said, dual threat quarterback. He can do it all. We got our hands full.
And, they played Michigan State last week, so both teams coming off a game against a Big Ten school. But prior to that, the first 2 games, they gave up almost no yards rushing to Mercy Hurst and to Robert Morris.
Yeah.
So defensively, what do they do that makes them effective against the run?
They put a lot of people around the box, and so I think you're seeing that more and more. Last couple of years, you're seeing more and more people crowd the box, making you throw the ball. So their base set is really kind of 8 people around the box crowding you. They will play some cover 0. They will play some cover 1. So they've made a commitment, and I think their defensive line is very good. They've made a commitment to say, hey, we're going to stop the run and make you throw. So we do have our challenge there, but I like some of the sets that we're going to be able to get in and some of the things that we're going to be able to take advantage of that.
They also have a wide receiver who's got a familiar last name, Max Tomczak, whose father, Mike, is actually like their general manager or something, who played in the NFL for a long time, and he's their most effective receiver, catching for almost 200 yards through the first 3 games.
Yeah, he's been kind of their go-to guy. They find ways to get him. They get him the ball on screens. They get him the ball out in the flat. They run some good RPO stuff off of some of that. You know, they'll fake the quarterback power. He'll be the guy going up the seam. He'll be the guy that they're trying to single out and try to make sure they get the ball to him.
How excited is your team to play at home?
Fired up. You know, when you go on the road 3 times in a row, that is difficult. We knew that going in, but it is very exciting to be at home, very exciting to be in Johnny Unitas Stadium, have the opportunity to play in front of our home crowd, going all gold, so going a gold rush, trying to get the fans to show up in gold. Going to be an exciting day.
I'll have to wear gold.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. We will have the call for you 6 o'clock on Saturday from the U. We want you here, but if not, game will be on Monumental Sports with Gordy Combs and I. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Pete Shinnick, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Tiger Football Report.